Paleo. The first to live in this region were nomadic Indians who hunted large mammals. These natives were one of the earliest stages of human culture in North America. A distinctive spear point called Clovis is evidence of Paleo Indians here. Archaic. About 10,000 years ago, the climate began to warm up, and humans found new food sources: smaller game, shellfish, and seasonal plants. Scholars commonly describe this time period, when people began gathering their food from stable resources, as well as hunting big game, as the archaic cultural sequence. Woodland. Cultivating squash, gourds, beans, and corn, woodland Indians began to live in villages at least part of the year. Tools and pottery became more varied. They decorated pottery by stamping the unfired surface with wooden paddles carved with complex designs. Mississippian. This culture originated in the Mississippi Valley. They planted extensive crops and lived in large villages with intricate social relationships, as suggested by their earth lodges and flat-topped mounds. Initially, their pottery was plain, but of varied sizes and shapes. Hernando de Soto visited towns of late Mississippians throughout the Southeast in 1540. Just outside of Macon is a land that was inhabited by the Mississippians. And 500 years before Columbus set sail for the New World, the Mississippians here built a thriving community of thatched huts and earthen mounds. And these earthen mounds were used for political and religious ceremonies. Let's take a closer look. Think of this mound as a ceremonial place, and you could compare it to today's Senate building or House of Representatives. And inside here you had seating for 50 of the leaders, and on the floor you can see indications of where those seats were. This original clay floor is about 1,000 years old, and you see here this raised part that's in the shape of an eagle, of a bird, and the chief would have his position here. Leaders held meetings in the Ocmulgee Earth Lodge 1,000 years ago. This model shows one possible view of such a meeting. Here, 3 leaders sit in a row at the bird's feet, while other participants sit cross-legged in the remaining clay seats. According to Creek traditions, the 3 leaders may have been the chief, the first warrior, and the speaker. Mississippian women made sturdy pottery in simple functional designs for everyday use. They chose shell and sand as additives to make their bowls, jars, and plates stronger and more fire resistant. They also added handles and experimented with different bottle shapes. In this map of Georgia, you see 4 mound shapes that indicate locations of the early people of Georgia and their mounds. 2 are shaded blue, and the blue represent the woodland period mounds. And so this first one right here that's in blue, that is just outside, just east of Atlanta, and that's where you find the Rock Eagle Mound in Eatonton, Georgia. And then in southwest Georgia, this blue mound, that represents the Ocmulgee Mounds in Blakely, Georgia. Coming back to the state map, we are here at the Ocmulgee National Monument, and it is represented in green to indicate the Mississippian period. And then if you travel north up Interstate 75, you can view the Etowah Indian Mounds in Cartersville, Georgia.